Hello and welcome to Quarterlight, your car brochure channel, and in today's episode it's the Ford Anglia. Hello and welcome back, and if you're new to Quarterlight, we're a car brochure channel here on YouTube looking at car brochures from around the world for the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s and even sometime beyond that. So if you're interested in cars and car brochures, please consider subscribing. Anyway, today's Friday. Friday means on the channel Ford Friday. Every Friday we look at a Ford brochure, and today is the turn of the Ford Anglia. So let's have a look at that now. So this brochure, it's got a few little marks here and there, but it is from January 1964, and this really is the Anglia you kind of like picture in your mind. There's been many different Anglias, but these 105Es and the sportier 123Es are really the kind of like Anglias you really picture in your mind, I think. 105E ran from 1959 to 1968 and was joined in 1962 by the sportier Super or 123E between 1962 and 1967. This brochure is showing both, and it's also showing the Anglia estate car. Let's just zoom in on this main image. And presumably this is the deluxe, lovely full chrome grille at the front. It's even got these overriders on this particular example as well. And the one thing I really do like about 60s cars is all the chrome. Quite sad that they sort of slowly disappeared over the years, really. But these Anglias, I think for younger viewers, I think this is kind of like the car you kind of like imagine as being the Anglia, the car that was made famous once again with, Harry Potter, I guess. But anyway, let's open the brochure up and have a look inside. So when we open the brochure up, it starts introducing the Anglia Standard, the base model and the Deluxe, although look at the images, they all look like the Deluxe model. Anyway, let's start by a look at the text and then we'll look at some of these images. So it starts by saying sleek styling and looks great in any company. A powerful proven performance that gives you clear leadership on motorway or by-lane. Cruising economy of about 40 miles per gallon. The short stroke engine of race and rally fame proved for 100,000 miles. Excellent cornering together with long tyre life, very favourable insurance and HP rates, full backing of Ford fixed price servicing. Very low depreciation. The knowledge that more British motorists have chosen Anglia in the recent years than any comparable car. The Anglia was announced to the world in a flurry of excitement. Within weeks, it had become Britain's fastest selling car. It has never looked back since. It carries on in this quite 60s tone. It says, as sophisticated as champagne, as practical as a Saturday morning shopping. The well-established Anglia adapts itself to all conditions. Anglia's compactness is valuable. 4-seater roominess is contained within a length of only 12 foot 9 1/4 and a modest width of 4 foot 9 1/2. A trial on the open road soon shows Anglia's unique appeal. The very short stroke engine is quiet, smooth, unburstable. Anglia cruises silently on the motorway at speeds beyond 70 miles per hour. A very high top gear cuts down engine revs, reduces noise. And then we get some lovely images of the Anglia. This particular example showing white wall tyres, which would have been an option on the Deluxe model. I think the most noticeable feature though of the Anglia is this sort of window, sort of a backward slanting rear window. Kind of like said to be there because it stops rain falling on the rear window. I'm not sure that's the case. I think possibly it's more style over substance really, and sort of like these like fins. It was very much a car that was influenced by the American car scene, I do believe. Again, this particular example is showing these overriders on there as well. Opening front quarter windows, of course, should be mentioned on the show. Do like it in this blue colour. It does look very nice. I have always liked the design of the Anglia actually. We do get a little image of this red example peeking out. And then a couple examples in white. This one's got a nice red interior on it. No overriders on this example if you note though, but it does have the white wall tyres, and the model next to it looks very similar, but it's got like a darker interior, and that does have the overriders, but this time no white wall tyres. So the Anglia's unusual reverse rake rear window is a highly practical feature apparently. Keeps glass clear of rain, snow, misting. Rear window also increases the back seat headroom and allows a longer boot lid. Anglia's layout is practical and ingenious. Like I say, it tries to talk about some of these features and reasons for having this on, but I kind of think the main reason for it was just the style and, you know, copying that sort of like Americana designs, but who would argue with a brochure? It does have this nice green example showing that backward slanted rear window. Two-tone model this one as well if you note. And then we also get a nice interior shot. I've always liked these old cars with these red interiors. I think they'll kind of like look like something a little bit special. It goes on to tell us, Ford believe in driver comfort and the Anglia proves it. See the cleverly shaped seats and neat controls. Parcels are neatly stored away in the lockable glove box or on the full width shelf. Boot capacity is an excellent 11.5 cubic feet. Passengers are delighted to find acres of room in the rear. Very wide side doors and tip forward front seats make easy entry. The generous width of 3 foot 7 3/4 is stretching space for adults, sleeping space for kids. The hard-wearing PVC upholstery always stays clean. Now, I'm not a huge fan of PVC upholsteries, but it does look nice in this red colour. You also note this sort of rear opening window, but that certainly would have been like a more deluxe feature, I think. And then it goes on to say the Anglia has a fabulous rally record, particularly in events where the going is rough, the climate tough in the extreme. A little bit of a moody night shot before telling us Anglia has performed consistently well in Kenya's African Safari Rally, perhaps the world's most testing event, and in complete contrast, outright wins have been scored in Canada's bleak winter rally. Then it started telling us about this autodrome near Paris, a tuned 997cc Anglia with a £13 performance kit, recently averaged 83.4 miles per hour for 7 days and nights. The only failure was a light bulb. Dramatic proof of Anglia's proven stamina, apart from the obvious prerequisites of strong body and supple, durable suspension. A car needs utterly reliable power to win international rallies. Anglia Standard and Deluxe have the world-beating 997cc 39 bhp engine. In tuned form, this engine has revolutionised racing. Anglia Deluxe can be specified with a 1200cc 48.5 bhp engine and 4-speed all-synchronous gearbox, larger brakes matching extra power. And then we get this little bit of an image of an Anglia in quite harsh conditions. And then it starts introducing this more, well, sporty, but you know, we're not talking speed here, but certainly my favourite Anglia, the Anglia Super. So let's jump in, read a bit of this text and look at some of these interesting images. It says, such is the appeal of the basic Anglia that super power and super luxury were soon demanded, hence the Anglia Super. The newest version of the Anglia is quickly identified by the chrome-etched side flash and bright metal wheel trims. No pains have been spared to make the Anglia Super the liveliest and most comfortable light car available today. And here it is, and certainly straight away you notice that chrome-edged side flash, that sort of different colour, certainly making it a little bit of that sort of like side stripe style sporty feel to it, in a bit more of a more nicer 60s way, I guess. You can also notice those wheel trims, instead of just the chrome caps, they're kind of like a full width wheel trim, kind of like, I don't know if it's trying to like denote a little bit of like a spoke wheel type design on it. I'm not sure what they were going for there, but interesting nevertheless. But overall, a very nice looking car, and I do like that sort of two-tone with the white roof on there. Quite a nice car. I wonder how many Supers are left today. So yeah, I mean, this car, instead of having that little 997cc engine, has got a larger engine. It's in particular, I think it's 1198cc. It tells us Super for performance is provided with the utmost smoothness by a 4-cylinder 1200cc 48.5 bhp engine and all synchro gearbox. With a total weight of only 15.25 CWT, CWE means 100 weight, so 15.25 100 weight. The Anglia Super has an exceptional power weight ratio, good economy results. Then we get this rather nice little image into the engine bay. Looks lots of room on there, so a nice engine to work on by the looks of it. An entirely new trim scheme, including new front seats, a padded fascia, rear armrest, carpet, provides super comfort. In the past, top motoring luxury has been confined to the big costly cars. Now the Anglia Super changes this. And indeed, what a lovely example this is, sort of blue with this matching blue interior, and I think that looks a really nice interior, as a lot of the 60s cars. I kind of really like the 60s designs, I must admit. And then going down to the bottom, here is your front view of your Super. Then that takes us to the Anglia estate cars. Now the thing about the Anglia estate cars, it kind of like misses that sort of key feature on an Anglia, that sort of backwards slanted rear window, and gets this more conventional rear. Of course, way more practical though. Anyway, let's have a look at some of the text. This gets a little bit wordy, so I don't think we'll read it all, but let's pick out some key points. So it tells us own an Anglia estate car and forget about the ifs and buts of motoring. With this outstanding vehicle, you and your family have the freedom to go where you want and take whatever you like. You get all the comfort and refinement of a thoroughly reliable saloon with the rugged carrying power of a tough commercial vehicle, but without the utilitarian look. The Anglia estate car has sleek good looks and will draw favourable comments everywhere, together with a fine finish in single or two-tone and immaculate interior trim. Now it goes on to say you kind of like getting the best of both worlds, no compromise. You know, you've got this estate car now, saying you get your two cars for the price of one, etc, etc. But it does say the Anglia estate owner loses nothing in driving fun either. And it goes on to say you can have a 997cc engine as standard, but the 1200cc package is available on the deluxe car at extra cost, of course. Anyway, let's have a look at some of the images. Well, first of all, we get this very sort of strange image, mostly hidden by the hedge, as if we're kind of like snooping on the neighbours here, but kind of like showing us this estate car practicality. And if you notice, with all these images throughout this brochure, there are actual cars. Now usually in 60s brochures, they very often kind of like open up to like a poster style, and they very often, more likely or not, are actually drawn images. So this is quite an unusual brochure for the 60s. You can certainly see straight away on these images that loss of that rear slanted rear window really changes the overall look of the car, I think. Another little image showing, hey, we've got an estate, we can put lots of things in it now. And it finally ends on this very strange image, kind of like, I don't know if they're feeding the pigeons, but certainly a pigeon got in the way of the shot. Then when we turn the page, we get more images, a little bit of a better look without birds and hedges being in the way of this hatch area, I guess we could call it. So this is obviously with the seats up, before the days of a split seat, you'll notice. So not hugely practical as a split seat, but nevertheless a lot more practical than the saloon version. The lip is quite high up though, if you notice. Below down it says, even with the rear seat in position, you get exceptional luggage space. The spare wheel is stowed beneath the floor, like so. And then the next image is showing the seat down, and obviously we've got more space now. So it tells us, with the rear seat folded, the load space length measures a valuable 4'6", and moreover it is completely flat. And then we get a nice interior image of this white example with a red trim estate again, both by looks of it in the day and at night. I'm not really sure why they're doing a night shot, but nevertheless it is a lovely looking interior. And at the end we get the specification. So the specification leads on from the estate and then goes into the Anglia estate cars and showing that specification. On the very back page we've got the standard Anglia and the super Anglia specification, so we'll come to that in a moment. But if we look at this, the engine, remember we can get two different engines for the estate version. First of all, this lower 997cc engine, and then the optional 1200cc engine if you preferred. Gearbox 4-speed with synchro on 3 forward gears with the 997cc engine, and then synchro mesh on the 4 forward gears on the 1198cc. Then it goes on to tell us information about the rear axle, the suspension, the brakes, which are a drum type, steering, wheels and tyres, and battery, before talking about the body. Now I'm not going to read all this out because the brochure video is starting to get a bit longer, but certainly at any time you can pause the screen if you do want to read everything. Going down, it tells us about general equipment, electric wipers, self-cancelling flashers, sun visor, interior and exterior rear view mirrors, and a fascia ashtray. Extra equipment for the deluxe model, we've got additional ornamentation, opening rear quarter windows, two-tone upholstery, passenger sun visor, combined courtesy and interior light, linoleum rear floor, lockable glove box, temperature gauge, oil pressure and main beam warning lights. Instruments grouped in panel in front of the driver, speedometer, odometer, fuel gauge, ignition warning light, directional indicator light, and then the controls and optional extras. It's telling us that optional extras for this are a heater and demister. White sidewall tyres can be added on the deluxe model. And then finally on the back page, the specifications for the Anglia Deluxe and the Anglia Super. We've also got an interesting dealer stamp on there, which will end after looking at the specifications. Anyway, let's dive straight in. So again, the standard engine is that 997cc engine, but you could option the larger 1200 or 1198cc engine. Looks like it was still an option on the Deluxe. Then we've got information about lubrication, fuel system, transmission. Again, 4-speed with synchro mesh on second, third and top with the 997cc engine. But if you did get the larger engine, you got a synchro mesh on all 4 forward gears. gives you information about rear axle, suspension, brakes. It does look like the larger engine got slightly updated or uprated brakes. Information about the steering, wheels, battery, again, body. Again, I'm not going to read it all out, but if you wanted to, you could pause the screen. General equipment, electric wipers, self-cancelling flashes, etc, etc. Extras for the Deluxe: additional ornamentation, full width radiator grille, opening rear quarter windows, two-tone upholstery, passenger sun visor, combined courtesy and interior light, 2 rear ashtrays, colour floor coverings, lockable glove box, temperature gauge, oil pressure and main beam warning lights. I think it was really worth going for the Deluxe model actually. Then we've got further information on the instruments, controls, and then the optional extras, again a heater and demister, two-tone body colour schemes and white sidewall tyres available for the Deluxe. Of course we've got the Super, and that comes standard with that larger 1198cc engine, which also means it's got a 4-speed transmission with synchromesh on all the gears. We do again get information about the rear axle, suspension, brakes, steering, wheels and tyres, battery, body, general equipment, electric wipers, twin sun visors, vanity mirror, 1 front, 2 rear ashtrays, cigar lighter, lockable glove box, full width parcel tray, padded fascia, padded armrests, combined assist straps and coat hooks, fresh air heater and demister and two-tone trim. Instruments: speedometer, odometer, fuel gauge, warning lights and temperature gauge, and then controls. And then looks like the only optional extra for the Super was the white sidewall tyres. And then that really interesting dealer stamp. It looks like JJ Tate Limited in Hemsworth. Look at that telephone number. And it looks like there's 2 stamps used, doesn't it? It looks like they've stamped it in this bluey purpley colour, and then looks like all the Ford dealers were given this red stamp, main Ford dealers, to stamp in the centre there. Interesting dealer stamp there for sure. And then at the bottom here finally it says published by the Advertisers Service Group, Advertising Department, Ford of Britain, a product of the Ford Motor Company Limited, Dagenham, and the Ford badge. And then right at the very bottom here we do have the date. It's printed in England by the Haycock Press Limited, the date January 64 by the looks of it. So there we go, the Ford Anglia for Ford Fridays. Do you remember these? Kind of think they never really got to that sort of like collector expensive sort of stage. Like you think about Escorts and how they went to crazy money. Never happened for the Anglia. Although I know I'm going to get shot for this. I actually prefer the Anglia. Thank you so much for watching today on Ford Friday. Many more episodes to come, so if you haven't done already, please consider subscribing, and we'll see you very soon. Have a great weekend and goodbye.